it was interesting because the date, I mean, really the whole episode was very vulnerable. It was very powerful and it was very deep. And what's interesting is that I saw the group date happen and they were breaking down walls. And Katie had mentioned, or she really divulged, that she had a lack of consent. And she was talking about a previous experience for her. And we notice in your date, you actually ask her very respectfully, "Can I kiss you?" And to know that men that didn't experience her vulnerability and what she was talking about, you didn't even see that, and you respectfully asked her, "Can I kiss you?" So, do you have any advice for men out there on how to respect women and their boundaries and what they're willing to do in that space?
Yeah. Well, I mean, one, watching it back entirely, I forgot that I even said that. I think it was a little bit of just habit and awkwardness. and I mean, most importantly, consent's everything. I didn't want to read a situation wrong. It was the first time, so I really didn't know where she was standing, how she was feeling, with me. I mean, from the time I got there up until, the time we actually kissed for the first time, we had spent some quality time together where I felt there was a connection. But then again, there's also all these other men who she has a connection with. So I didn't want to step kind of out of line. I wanted it to be mutual, not forced. And consent, that's what you want anyways. It's not a one-sided relationship. It goes both ways.
Well, that's where I think, adding on to what Catherine said earlier, is like, you were shown as like such this kind, respectful man amongst, boys with all of this extra drama going down. And so that's why I think everyone looked at you and your date and your interaction with Katie with so much respect and admiration. It's like, we watch that, and me as a single woman, I'm like, that's what I want. Like, that's the kind of person I want. Like, you are just a good person. I want to go back to the connection with Katie, because obviously, this week we did see you get that one-on-one. But when you stepped out of the limo, like, obviously there's kind of no expectations. You don't know who you're meeting. You don't know like what the vibe's going to be between you two, if there will be that connection. So did you feel that, fresh out of the limo with Katie? And then did you, going into your one-on-one date, like still feel that? Or were you still kind of like, I'm not too sure. Like, how are you feeling like on your side of things? Because we've heard Katie in her interviews and ITMs, but how are you feeling?
Yeah, I remember telling myself that if I didn't feel that necessary initial spark, that I really wouldn't waste time. I think, anybody who's been in a bunch of relationships, you can't force this thing. It really is something where, that real spark, the first time you see somebody, first time you interact with them, that aura, that energy, when words haven't even been spoken, that's a piece that in my mind can't really be replicated, and it's special. You can learn to love somebody without that spark, but at the same time, when you do have it, it really changes everything. And I remember telling myself, just because I have a 4-year-old at home, I've got multiple businesses, I operate, employees that kind of depend on me, that if it wasn't there, then it's okay. Like, I can leave. I don't need to, waste her time, take away from others. But when I was in the limo, I got a really funny story here. At least I think it's funny.
Give it to us.
So I'm sitting in the limo, and it's my turn to jump on out. The whole entire time I'm in the limo, I'm so not nervous. I'm like, why am I not like sweating and nervous? Like, am I just playing it cool here? And then I get out of the limo, and you realize that you've seen this play out so many times, and now you're a part of it. So then the nerves started coming. And, me being the oldest guy on the show, I was like, oh God. Right when I got out, tons of like bright lights. I couldn't actually find her. I had no idea where she was. So I hop out the limo, and I'm like, like this. I'm like, oh my God, I'm totally playing into like this old dude scenario. Like he's so senile. And I'm like, where are you? Like this. And then, it was really kind of cute because Katie, she said like, hello, like over here. And I'm like, speak louder. And then I locked in and she looked incredible that night. And I felt the spark, which is what I was looking for the whole entire time. And then, you're in the limo waiting and waiting and waiting. I start taking my first step to her and my pant leg had risen all the way up to like my cap. And I look down and I'm like, should I fix this? Should I just roll with it? Like roll up with her, like full LL Cool J style, I'm like, I don't know if that's how it's going to work. So I just kind of like tried to shake it down. Then I get up there and, she just immediately made you feel, made me feel very welcome. She was very warm and radiant and smiling. And it was really, really cold that day too.